I cannot stress how long I have needed this upgrade. The time has finally come. I have finally purchased an actual studio desk. For the longest time, I could not justify just buying an expensive-ish piece of furniture. It's been in the back of my mind. I know it was something that I had to do eventually, but it just never really made sense to me. I have to say that for the last like 10 years, I've been using this Ikea desk that's like $40. Just every time it breaks, I would just run to Ikea and buy a new one. If it started to really get just chipped away and destroyed, I would just go and buy another one. When I moved, I threw that one out and bought a new one. Just basically, it's been my desk for the last like 10 years. And while it's done its job of providing me with a work area for me to do all of my things from recording, mixing, production, and even gaming, it's just, it was time for me to really take it to the next level and actually get something that I can be proud of, which is a studio desk. And I've had it set up now for a couple of days, and let me tell you, it is a night and day difference. I wish I did this sooner. I cannot stress that enough. This is like an incredibly massive upgrade for me. Having all this workspace, having all of my rack gear within arm's reach, within just milliseconds of touching to adjust a knob, has just completely just pushed my workflow into a completely different territory, and I'm just so happy. I couldn't be happier. The initial cost was a little bit annoying, and the whole idea of just having to drop a big load of cash on something that isn't electronic, it took me a little bit to finally overcome, but I'm so glad that I did. And ignorance aside, I have something that I'm really proud of. I love this desk. It's great. It is taking a little bit to get used to because of having the same desk for 10 years, but let me tell you, it is great. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just sort of go through here some of the sort of pros and cons to the desk, and a little bit about the entire process, and then I will let the montage go of me building it while I give some basically some voiceovers to explain how the entire process went. Talking a little bit about the IKEA desk, it's definitely a viable option, I think, for someone who's just getting into pro audio or wanting like a little home studio. It definitely works. It is, kinds of sort of flimsy. The legs on it are very, very cheap feeling, I want to say. They're just pretty much like hollow metal attached to a piece of wood. I mean, it's $40. It's got a decent amount of space, and it worked really well for me for a really long time. With heavy use, you'll definitely start to see it within the desk. I had a ton of damage to the desk, and things would fall off of it. Chips happen very easily. It's just a desk that's cheap, and it gets you by in a pinch. And I never saw myself really needing to upgrade, but as I take it to the next level, I definitely did. First thing to take into consideration is the shipping for this desk. It does come freight, and that is really key here. This ended up being an all-day ordeal for me, having to set up the freight shipping for the guy to come and deliver it. It was just basically I had to plan around this. It does come freight. Shipping, from what I've seen on various websites, goes anywhere between $100 and $200. Some sites do offer free freight shipping, but it's usually in the price of the desk that's a little higher, not on sale, where you're going to make up for that. Here it is, dropped off outside my house. As you can see, it's a pretty good sized, I believe it's about 260-ish pounds for the delivery. The bigger box containing all the wood, the hardware, and the metal bits, those are in the smaller box. Together, the two are around 260-ish pounds. I think that's what the invoice says. I'd have to double check that, but yeah. You're working with a lot of real estate with two big boxes. I had to basically cut the box to shreds and then pull out each piece one at a time. Luckily, I was able to have a family member help me bring in each piece. But yeah, I ended up doing this on a 97-degree day. It was horrible, and I do not recommend doing it. Something to also kind of keep in mind is if you're like in an apartment complex, or if you're in an area where there's like stairs, it's definitely going to be pretty much like working against you, just because of the weight and the size and the freight delivery. Just things to keep in mind. It's not something that UPS, FedEx, or Amazon services just leaves outside your door and calls it a day. You do have to sign for it. You do have to schedule the delivery, and it is a very good size and weight. So those are just things to keep in mind. Over the next few minutes, I'll be doing a montage of me building the desk at 2500% speed. It's a pretty easy build, pretty straightforward. As you can see here, I'm pretty much just screwing in everything by hand and then just tightening it with the provided Allen wrench. The hardware and tools that this comes with is very, very similar to the high-end Ikea or Walmart brand furniture. A lot of the pieces are very similar and very familiar. If you've ever used any of those, provided tools that they give you, it's pretty much the same thing. The desk, though, does feel very sturdy. It's a very good build quality. There's no doubt in my mind that this desk will last as long as your audio career, as long as you treat it with, respect and dignity. It will definitely serve you right. It is definitely not an Argosy. It's not a Danger Fox. It's not a Zor or a, Support Nucleus or anything like that. It's not, your top of the line desk, but it will definitely do what you need it to do, and it'll get you by absolutely, with no questions asked. So pricing, because it is not one of those desks, it doesn't contain a high price tag. This desk retails for $569. That's at Guitar Center, a couple other sites that carry it too. Basically, that's the price, and then the additional charge for freight shipping. So you're looking at out the door roughly around $800 after tax, if you pay full price. This desk is on sale a good amount of times a year. 4th of July, President's Day, Memorial Day, Christmas, whatever holiday, usually on sale. Sometimes it's just on sale just cause as well. Usually at the $399 price point, so you can get it for pretty much the cost without the freight shipping if you catch it on sale. I was able to score this desk for a very, very good price. Under $300 on a daily deal kind of thing, and it's at that price, it's absolutely a no-brainer, which is part of the reason why I jumped at it. Very, very awesome price for a very awesome desk. Some other kind of, I guess, things to kind of just consider, like I mentioned, is because it does ship freight and it is very heavy, where you are going to put this desk is sort of like almost has to be a deciding factor. If you're like in a dorm or a small home studio, it might not work for you. It's also very good sized. I believe the top piece is like 70 something inches. So if you don't have the room for it, obviously you're not going to get it, but just the other things to keep in mind is the weight and the delivery and all that stuff. Apartments, I can't imagine this being fun to bring up 2 to 3 flights of stairs. I brought it in my front door and I was ready to give up, but after all, I definitely think it's a solid purchase. And when I was finished doing the build after a few screw ups and breaks, I was really satisfied. It felt like I had basically climbed Mount Everest, and I beat the game. That was it. The desk did take me almost 3 hours to build. I was doing it by myself, There was a couple of times where I screwed up pretty bad, put something upside down. It does have the general kind of same feel as a piece of Ikea furniture. It's got a lot of the same similarities, same pieces, a lot of the Allen wrench screws that go into it. You will need other pieces of equipment, such as a drill if you want things to go smooth. But I suppose you could use a screwdriver, though it's probably going to take you significantly longer. As I mentioned, it's an extremely heavy desk, and having two people would definitely be so much more beneficial to you assembling it. But if you only had one person, like I did myself doing it, then one person is perfectly fine. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. I also took a ton of breaks. It started getting really hot, even with my air conditioning on. The just heat from the outside being one of the hottest days of the year just made my room pretty much a sauna. So I was just dying of sweat, and it's not for a good time. But I took a lot of breaks, and as I went through the entire process by myself, I can definitely say it's doable for one person to put together. It is not doable for one person to pretty much manage if they live inside of like an apartment complex or something like that. You're definitely going to want to phone a friend or have someone come help you because you're going to need it. Again, great desk for the price, a lot of features. It looks great. It feels great. Definitely increases the workflow. The cable management on this thing also rules. Something to point out, the little tray in the back is pretty much all you need for perfect wire management. Right now, you're seeing just kind of the finished product. I still have a lot to do with this thing, but I wanted to get this video out there so you can just see how incredible of a desk this is and how worth it is to definitely scoop this up. If you found this video at all helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let the YouTube algorithm do its thing. I would really appreciate it. And as always, thanks again for watching.